Hey everybody, welcome to the show where we're diving headfirst into the hilarious battle of the sexes, the age-old showdown between men and women and their wonderfully different approaches to life. We're talking about those quirky habits, those head-scratching tendencies, and those moments that make you go, really? That's how you do it? Get ready to laugh because we're uncovering some surprising facts and digging into the differences between men and women from their teenage years to their golden days.
Let's rewind back to those awkward teenage years, shall we? The time when everything felt like a monumental event, and every day was a new adventure in the world of growing up. You know, that time when your voice cracked more than your dad's jokes and you thought hair gel was the answer to everything. When boys were busy trying to master the latest video game and grooming was more of an afterthought than a priority. Picture this, a 14-year-old girl, phone glued to her hand, effortlessly navigating the social media universe, planning her outfit for the weekend and already giving her mum fashion advice. She's got her calendar filled with social events, and her friends are just a text away, ready to discuss the latest trends and gossip. Now picture a 14-year-old boy still trying to figure out how he went from a growth spurt to tripping over air, convinced deodorant is optional, and his idea of asking someone out is borrowing their pencil in class. His world revolves around simpler things, like whether he can beat the next level in his favorite game, or if he can muster the courage to talk to his crush without turning beet red. Am I exaggerating? Maybe a little, but there's a grain of truth in these observations. Teenage girls often seem to have a knack for handling social challenges with a certain finesse, while boys are still figuring out the basics of social interaction. But you have to admit, there's a certain charm to the way girls seem to breeze through those teenage hurdles, while boys are busy building pillow forts and perfecting their burping skills. It's almost as if girls have an innate ability to multitask and manage their lives with a level of sophistication that boys are still aspiring to reach. It's like they're playing different games, with girls somehow getting a head start on the whole adulting thing. They're already thinking about their future, setting goals, and working towards them, while boys are still enjoying the carefree days of youth. I remember being a teenager. Oh, the drama, the angst, the endless phone calls with my best friend, dissecting every single interaction with that cute boy in math class. Every glance, every word, every smile was analyzed and reanalyzed, as if it held the secrets to the universe. And then there were the boys, who seemed perfectly content to communicate in grunts and head nods, their biggest concern being whether their favorite video game store was still open. Their conversations were short and to the point, often revolving around their latest gaming achievements or the newest gadgets. Don't get me wrong, boys have their own kind of brilliance, but when it comes to navigating those tumultuous teenage years, girls seem to have a secret handbook or something. They handle the ups and downs with a grace that's both admirable and mystifying. Maybe it's those extra X chromosomes, maybe it's the influence of older sisters or moms, or maybe, just maybe, girls are secretly time travelers from the future, sent back to show boys how it's done. Whatever the reason, their ability to juggle school, social life and personal growth is nothing short of impressive. Whatever the reason, one thing's for sure. When it comes to teenage maturity, girls are often a few steps ahead, rocking those high school hallways with a confidence and grace that most boys can only dream of. They seem to have an unspoken understanding of how to navigate the complexities of teenage life, from friendships to academics to extracurricular activities. Girls are often seen leading school clubs, excelling in sports, and participating in various activities that help them grow and learn. They're not just surviving their teenage years, they're thriving, making the most of every opportunity that comes their way. Boys, on the other hand, are still in the process of discovering themselves. They're trying new things, making mistakes and learning from them. It's a different journey, one that's equally important but often less polished. And let's not forget the role of friendships. Girls often have a close-knit group of friends who support each other through thick and thin, offering advice and a shoulder to cry on. Boys, while they have their own support systems, often rely on their friends for different kinds of support, like a game of basketball or a shared hobby. As they grow older, girls often start planning for their future, thinking about college, careers, and the kind of life they want to lead. Boys, meanwhile, are more likely to live in the moment, enjoying the present without worrying too much about what's to come. It's a fascinating contrast, one that highlights the different ways boys and girls approach their teenage years. Both have their strengths and weaknesses, and both are on a journey of self-discovery and growth. In the end, it's not about who's ahead or who's behind. It's about the unique paths they each take, the lessons they learn, and the people they become. So whether it's girls 1, boys 0, or a tie, what truly matters is the journey and the growth that comes with it.
Fast forward a few decades and we find ourselves in the land of midlife, where men are realizing their dad jokes are actually funny, and women are wondering if they can use their hot flashes to toast marshmallows. It's a time of change, reflection, and the occasional existential crisis, and that's just before lunch. Now let's talk about the birds and the bees, or in this case, the dads and the, well, not moms anymore. It's no secret that men have a longer window for fatherhood. Heck, they can become dads well into their golden years, which might explain why some of them still haven't grown up. Women, on the other hand, go through this thing called menopause, which is like Mother Nature's way of saying, okay, you've earned a break from periods and diaper changes. Time to focus on yourself. It's like the universe is playing a cosmic prank, giving men more time to procreate while women are over here like, I'm done baking buns in this oven. Time to crank up the AC and enjoy my freedom. But hey, that's the beauty of it all, isn't it? Men get to experience the joys of fatherhood later in life, while women get a head start on their retirement plans. It's all about balance, right?
Let's be honest, folks. When it comes to getting dressed, men and women might as well be from different planets. You know the drill. A man can walk into his closet, grab the first shirt and pants he sees, and be out the door in 5 minutes flat. Meanwhile, women are staring into their overflowing wardrobes, trying to decipher the difference between business casual and smart casual, while simultaneously wondering if they can pull off that sparkly top they haven't worn since 2008. It's like men's closets are a well-organized library, where everything has its place, while women's closets are a magical vortex, where clothes multiply overnight and nothing ever seems to match. And don't even get me started on the shoes. Men have their trusty sneakers, their dress shoes, and maybe a pair of sandals for those daring I'm going to the grocery store occasions. Women, on the other hand, have enough shoes to rival Imelda Marcos, each pair carefully chosen for its style, comfort, and ability to match at least one outfit, maybe. But hey, who are we kidding? We all secretly envy each other's wardrobes, don't we? Men long for the variety and the chance to express themselves through fashion, while women wouldn't mind a little bit of that grab-and-go efficiency. It's all about finding the joy in the journey, whether that means spending hours trying on different outfits, or celebrating the fact that you can get dressed in the dark and still look somewhat presentable.
Technology. The great equalizer, the time saver, the source of endless entertainment and frustration. It's amazing how something that connects us all can also highlight the hilarious differences between men and women. Men, bless their tech-loving hearts, approach gadgets with the enthusiasm of a kid in a candy store. They're the first in line for the latest smartphone, the ones who can recite every single specification of their new drone, and the ones who insist on having a remote control for every appliance in the house. Women, on the other hand, tend to be more practical. We appreciate technology for what it can do for us, connect us with loved ones, streamline our busy lives, and provide endless entertainment options when we're stuck in line at the grocery store. We're not afraid to ask for help when our Wi-Fi is acting up, and we're perfectly content with a phone that makes calls, sends texts, and takes decent selfies. But let's be real. Behind every tech-savvy man is usually a woman who knows how to actually work the darn thing. We're the ones who set up the Wi-Fi, programmed the DVR, and figured out how to get the printer to stop jamming. We may not be as flashy or as vocal about our love for technology, but we know how to make it work for us.
Let's talk feelings, folks, because when it comes to expressing emotions, men and women are practically speaking different languages. Women, we're like open books, our emotions written across our faces, in our tone of voice, and sometimes even in interpretive dance, if the situation calls for it. We're not afraid to cry during sad movies, laugh hysterically at our own jokes, or launch into a detailed explanation of why that barista spelled our name wrong on the coffee cup. Men, on the other hand, are more like those emoji with the straight face. You know the ones where you can't tell if they're happy, sad, or contemplating the meaning of life? They're masters of the poker face, keeping their emotions tightly guarded, like a secret recipe for world domination. Ask a man how he's feeling, and you're likely to get a grunt, a shrug, or a simple, "I'm fine." But here's the thing. Under that stoic exterior, men have feelings too. They might not express them as openly or as often, but they're in there, simmering beneath the surface. And sometimes, just sometimes, those feelings bubble over in the most unexpected and hilarious ways. Like when they tear up during a commercial for dog food or get overly competitive during a friendly game of Scrabble.
Decision-making, the ultimate test of a relationship, the source of countless arguments, and the reason why Netflix and chill is a legitimate date night option. When it comes to making decisions, men and women approach the task with vastly different strategies. Men, bless their decisive hearts, like to cut to the chase. They're all about efficiency, logic, and choosing the option that requires the least amount of overthinking. Ask a man where he wants to eat, and he'll have an answer ready before you even finish the question. Women, on the other hand, are more likely to weigh all the options, consider every possible outcome, and consult with trusted advisors, aka their best friends, their moms, and maybe even the lady behind them in line at the grocery store, before making a decision. We're not afraid to change our minds a few or a dozen times, and we're always open to exploring new possibilities. But here's the secret to harmonious decision-making compromise. It's about finding that sweet spot where both partners feel heard, respected, and slightly victorious. It's about learning to appreciate each other's strengths and accepting that sometimes the best decisions are the ones made with a healthy dose of humor and a willingness to go with the flow.
So there you have it, folks. A glimpse into the hilarious and often baffling world of men and women. We may drive each other crazy sometimes, but that's all part of the fun, right? After all, life would be pretty boring if we were all the same. So let's raise a glass, or a remote control, or a shoe to our differences, to the quirks that make us unique, and to the joy of navigating this crazy thing called life together. Now I want to hear from you. Share your funniest observations about the differences between men and women in the comments below. And remember, whether you're a man, a woman, or somewhere in between, you're awesome just the way you are. Until next time, keep on laughing.